I sit back, they pick me out the camera. You sit back if you want to. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the discussion as it relates to the round table. The topic for today, if you have any comments, questions, or concern, you may place them in the chat and we will answer them as quickly as possible. Please do share this live if you see it now, if you see it after the fact. The topic for today is It's Time. We have a lot of things that's going on. If you saw the news, if you've been online, you see a lot of things that's going on in our communities. There have been people that's been mentioning about rolling us back as a people. Our main concern is what's happening in our prison systems, which seems to be a slow process of change. And it's time we'll reflect that it's time for change. My name is Renee, and I'm Linda. And we're going to be having this conversation as relates to the round tables, which will be consisting of dehumanization, excessive sentencing, wrongful conviction, and accountability. We've already had a couple of in person meetings as relate to the round tables. We've already had a couple of organizations to join in, but we don't really believe that people believe that we're sitting in the times that we're sitting in. Things need to be addressed, laws need to be amended, and the system needs to become balanced. And right now, what we're sitting, walking, and laying in is an unbalanced system. And the most of the individuals that are affected are Black and brown. So I'm going to let Linda lead off after this introduction, and then we're going to continue to have a dialogue. It's time. It's time for us to look at all the wrongful convictions and the fact that a lot of our family members are incarcerated for wrongful convictions. The dehumanization that occurred during the process of the communication with police force or justice system, there's a lot dehumanization going on. And we finally figured out a method that would help us to help the powers that be to determine faster whether or not a person should be incarcerated. You have individuals that are incarcerated for cases that don't exist. So today we're going to discuss what dehumanization is, where it comes in at upon your first communication with the police force. Wrongful conviction. How is it that you can determine what wrongful conviction is? Excessive sentencing. What gives you the accountability of excessive sentencing? And of course, accountability. Now, a lot of white collar cases that are going on, people are not given one third the sentencing that minorities with lesser cases or different types of cases, they're not given the same consideration. So what we're trying to do is bring to the awareness how many actual wrongful convictions are there that need to be addressed, that can be addressed. And believe it or not, it's a simple method, it's a simple means to look at what's actually going on in the prison system. Look at the prison system today as opposed to 5 years ago. Just five. Look at it. It has become so commercialized until um, it's no longer a rehabilitation. Department of Correction should be for rehabilitation. It says Department of Corrections. So that means correcting whatever there is, right? Why is it that we have people been incarcerated for 20, 30 years, and guess what? We're taking care of. We're creating dehumanization for them. So um, That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how we can come together collectively, put everything that's going on the table, and come up with what we need to in order to bring the awareness that we know that it exists.
Okay, so you said Department of Corrections is for corrections,
Right.
and I say that it's a moneymaker. It's not about the individuals, it's about how much money they can make from the investors. The investors are making a mint on the prison system, whether it's state or citywide. Uh, and the most people that are affected by what we're talking about is those who are black and brown. And I'll keep saying this over and over again. People say, well, they deserve to be there. How do you know? You feel what I'm saying? You say they deserve to be there. How do you know? You don't know the story. You don't know how the inner. A lot of individuals have been set up. A lot of individuals are wrongfully convicted. A lot of individuals that's doing time for excessive sentencing that was not their crime. A lot of individuals are being held accountable for something somebody else did. They just happen to be in the vicinity and fit somewhat of the description, but not the actual description of the individual. Not too long ago, me and you sat at Amber Hall and attended a meeting that represent all the powers that be, the state's attorney's office, somebody from the mayor's office. And in their analysis, they said that 90+% in our prisons were black and brown, right? And then 50% of those individuals incarcerated was innocent. So then it comes to question, what's wrong? How do you have statistical data that says 90+% is black and brown, and then 50% of the black and brown is innocent? So if 90+% is black and brown, that means 4% is white, right? So do it mean that when white people commit crime, they're put on a different scale than those that are black and brown? So I interpret that answer to be yes, because only the black and brown get excessive sentencing. And I was just talking about this at work not too long ago, and we was talking about things that happened, and I'm like, okay, Eric Garner died because he had permission to sell loose cigarettes in front of the store. Fidel Castillo died because he told the police officer that he was a conceal and carry. He acknowledged it, right? Sandra Bland died for whatever the reason for being pulled over, and nobody has justified that today, right?
Right.
George Floyd died. George Floyd died because of a $20 bill that they still didn't clarify that with a police officer knee on the neck. Breonna Taylor died inside her own house. So they outside shooting in, right? Tamir Rice died because somebody assumed that a child on a playground where they play water gun actually was on a playground with a real gun without them checking and verifying
that it
was a real gun. So we have Quan McDonald died because he had a mental state, right? Walking away with his back turned, an officer, Jason Van Dyke, shot him 16 times and killed him. So when you talk about 16 bullets released from the chamber of a gun, that's released with the intent to kill. Now, here is the question, and I want you all to think about this whether you see this now or you see it later. Here is the question. Jason Van Dyke shot Laquan McDonald 16 times. He got 3 years.
That's all.
That's it.
That's all.
He had 16 bullets.
But
and
he only got 3 years. And he took someone's life.
And he took someone's life. There are a lot of individuals in jail for 1 bullet, for
some
life,
for no bullets,
and some for no bullets, for life. just being in the vicinity of, just being in the area of, and they're sitting there for life because of the, I'm not going to be honest because I'm not sugarcoating anything, because of the color of their skin. And you may say that is not so, and I'll tell you it is so. Kyle Rittenhouse left the state of Illinois as a underage teenager who his mother transported him to Michigan
With the
with an assault rifle. With an assault rifle. The 16 or 17-year-old at the time, who was not legally adult age per the legal age of the state of Illinois, he was still underage. Went to Wisconsin while people was protesting, walked down the street freely, shot and killed 2 individuals, and he got a slap on the hand and was allowed to walk away. Because I want y'all to understand what we're sitting, walking, and we're laying in. And I said this at work. It all started with Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
It started with Trayvon Martin with George Zimmerman thinking he had the authority to take somebody's life because of the laws of Florida, right? Stand your ground. Well, see, here is why I have a problem. We are supposed to have elected officials in office. Your Democrats, your Republicans, your congressmen, your senators, your mayors, your governors, your state representatives, and all these people are supposed to be in office to try to keep a balance in the system. They try to seem like they're being fair, but we know they're not being fair. So some of these states are giving like permission for individuals to do the things that they do. And you may say, yes, Renee, well, he got off, he was defending his life. That ain't so. Because if you'd have stayed at home sitting in your living room on the couch with your finger on the game, you wouldn't have had the option to take nobody's life. We don't give life, and we have no right to take it at all, unless we're really defending ourselves. That's different. But we still don't have the right to take a life. You see what I'm saying? And so you say, well, you're still not right. And now go back. Let's go back one. Insurrection of the Capitol. So y'all want to call it, let's call it. The insurrection of the Capitol was clearly video where a group of white people broke into the Capitol.
To the White House.
And lives were lost. They were lost. And they tore up, they destroyed, they damaged things inside of those premises. Now, when Black Lives Matter was marching, they couldn't even get up the street because immediately the guards was on lock. They were stopped and was unable to pass. So now help me understand, how can you make sense of a group of white people can get close to the Capitol, but a group of Black people can't? And then when a group of Black people is marching, we're out to tear up, destroy, and do things illegal when we're doing things peacefully. But when a group of white people decide to legitimately tear some stuff, you all want to sugarcoat it and you want to dress it like they have rights to do what they do. No, they don't. The same law that applies to the color of my skin should be the same law that applies to the color of yours. And that's where the accountability is not happening. Here is something else, and Linda's going to chime in on this. These judges are just as guilty as the criminals. You know what I'm saying? And I thought about this thing. I'm thinking, when charges are brought up, I've been in the courtroom and the judges have not even had an idea of the case.
The case was about.
What it was about. They have not read the case. They have not seen the case. They are literally going on what the state's attorney is telling them, what they are presenting without knowing it to be factual. So now it comes to light that the state's attorney could be lying. And it has been proven.
9 times out of 10.
It has been proven.
Something is not being added.
It's not.
That would create the realism. See, we as minorities are just numbers, and they get paid by those numbers. So the more cases they
win, the more money they make for the state. Okay. Now, the judges, they should be accountable. The state's attorney should be accountable. The public defenders should be accountable. All of them should be accountable when they're not providing the services that they would provide for my Caucasian neighbor across the street. Okay. My whole emphasis on this is accountability. They have taught us and programmed us that we are accountable for each other. But who's accountable for when these officers are doing what they're doing and only one of them's name is mentioned? When it's two of them, who's accountable? Okay, what happens there? When the judges go to give the sentences, I've heard the judges make their own comments about an individual, and you don't even know that individual. Okay, I've been stigmatized in that fashion. Okay, today I'm still stigmatized in it because even though I do have connections, I don't bother with it because I don't feel like it's going to help. So I'm standing on my own with others like me. Now, together, we're going to put together everything that we know to help bring this to an end. We're going to do online petitions. We're going to do more roundtables. We're going to make people aware of what it takes to bring a case to a roundtable. And we want to spread it. We don't want to just keep it stagnated in one area. So, with the things that has happened before, showing just as the history that you have already, brought up, Renee, we've got to put a stop to it. We've got to collectively stand on what's right and make a change. But we have to do it in a method that is not barbaric or insulting. Because I've learned one thing through my time frame being on this earth. You can get more bees with honey than you can with vinegar. So that's my statute, my stands with it. But at the same time, my stand is you're still wrong. What you're doing is wrong. We need to amend these laws. We need to know how to take those petitions online and have so many of them that they have to look at what we're talking about. They're not going to look at what we're talking about if it's just me standing in front of them and no one else. You know what I'm saying? So collectively, when we come together, that's when it'll make a difference. That's when it will.
We also have to know that you can't wait till it hits your front door.
Right.
See, a lot of us stand, we look at the news, we read it online on our phones, our iPad, our tablets, how we get the message. We see it. And we think to ourselves, that's a shame.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a shame. And then you instantly draw a conclusion to a story that you have no knowledge of. You wasn't there. You don't know how it transpired. You don't know how it played out. You don't know the players in the scenario. But we have been so programmed, and I still say this, it goes back to that slave mentality.
This is the new age slave.
It is the light skinned versus the dark skinned person. I live in the big house and you in the field.
Yeah.
Understand?
You a field nigga.
So you a field nigga, and I'm better than you
I'm a house nigga.
because I'm in the house.
Because I'm like,
They traded the auction blocks and the ropes for prison cells, handcuffs, and chains.
oh, don't forget the drugs now.
Yeah.
Drugs had a big part in this. The drugs that come into our community, how could we bring that kind of cocaine? How could we bring the guns and things into our communities for our children? How can we do this? Why would we do this? And then tell us you can't whoop your child, but you steady bringing more stuff in that's going to create more of a hardship, not only for my child, but for my community as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't leave that out.
So in a sense, you want to keep people stuck. You want to keep them in bondage, you know. And we don't have enough sense to know how we're being pulled like the puppets on the string. Um, we're not investing in anything. We don't own anything if we really want to look at it. And the sad part for me is when you really have to wait till it hits your front door for you to get it. And then when it hits your front door, it stubs your toe and you realize you're in the thick of it. Now you're looking for those very people
that you didn't want to have anything.
that you didn't want to have
You
any.
didn't have time.
You didn't have time. You don't want to have anything to do with those individuals. Now you want their help. You see what I'm saying? So we should not wait till we get in a position that we want people's help to help us with situations we're going through. Take a look around. Take a look around. Pay attention. Open your eyes. Open your ears. And it's not all the time what people say. It's what they don't say, where the message really lies.
And what they don't do.
And what they don't do. And again, we constantly putting people in the seat that do not deserve to hold the seat. I saw Amanda Seals on Instagram the other day, and she posts a lot of stuff as it relates to injustices and how we're being treated. And people might look at her sometimes as being crazy, but she's truthful. She's factful. And then Yandy Smith made a post about the state's attorney who denied that the officers illegally shot into Breonna Taylor's house, right? And now he wants to run for governor.
Oh, really?
So imagine if the man could not, the token Black person, if he could not act accordingly and honor his obligation as a state's attorney, how are you going to honor you
as a
governor? How is he going to be fair? So we have these people in office who make their mouth say one thing
and their
actions are something else.
You know, Renee, a lot of people don't look at too when a person comes into or takes over an office. All of the baggage that that other person left behind or was working on is still there for them as well.
Mhm.
Okay, that's there, and then they've got their own ideas and their own things that they see need to be done. So it's kind of hard for them to get to what they done promised because they got to get through all of this other stuff before they can get to their promise.
Here's another flip side that people don't realize neither. They're obligated to people who have helped put them in a position.
Oh, yeah.
So their needs are going to come before the little person's needs. See, they got to pay them back for all the money they paid into
their commitment,
the campaign. So they owe these people. So this is why you see them caught up. You see them in a jam, should say, where your stuff is not addressed. And a lot of times we want to blame, but if we want to stop it, then we have to stop it with the prior person who was in there. Then we have to make sure that once they clean up at a certain time frame, we still have to hold everybody accountable. But what we don't do as a group of people is hold people feet to the fire. And for us, we don't know how to stick together. See, we would learn how to stick together. We can move, we can change some things, but we don't know how to stick together.
Well, you know, with a segment of the round table, people don't understand, but the round table consists, it's an expansion on reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It's an expansion on reality. And I say that because when we look at the different things that are going on around us, that still evolves into wrongful conviction, dehumanization, excessive sentencing. Okay, they still come around into that in some form or fashion. Okay, now if we look at in reality, like you say, we don't hold people accountable. We got to hold ourselves accountable first.
We do.
We got to hold ourselves accountable for the fact that 9 times out of 10, most blacks, minorities know about it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
We know about this.
Mm-hmm.
So we've stepped away from our teaching.
Mm-hmm.
We've stepped away from our values. And as a result, our children are naive, don't have a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some out here that are really working and pulling it together. But those that are not pulling it together, it seems as though they have no other route to go but in the criminal route.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems to them
Mm-hmm.
because no one has shown them anything different.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at, we got to be accountable.
We
Okay.
do.
We got to be accountable for if you live on the block on one end and I live on this end and I see your son headed in a direction that he shouldn't be headed in.
Mm-hmm.
It's my responsibility to come to you and talk to you. But how many parents will accept that?
Well, here's the problem with that. Big Mama don't exist no more.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And so now we're living in a society where the parents are just as bad as the kids.
Yeah. So there's
So
teaching to be done.
so there's teaching to be done, and then we're living in a society where I just said this the other day. We live off of fantasy.
Yeah.
Of what we see. You know what I'm saying? But it's not real. You see somebody with a lot of things, materialistic things, but you never stop to think how
How did
they
they get
get those things. You understand what I'm saying? You see somebody driving a nice car, but you never stop to think how did
How
they
did
get
they
the
get
car?
How many blocks did they walk each
Exactly.
day before
Exactly.
they had enough to get
Or
there?
did they take the cheap way out?
Right.
The easy, what they call the easy way out, the hustle their way out.
Mhm.
They didn't work for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? They took it from somebody else and they used what they took from somebody else to meet their needs. Right? So, and then we never stop to think about when we snatch a woman's purse. It's like snatching your mama's purse, your auntie's purse, your grandmother's purse, your sister's purse, your daughter's purse. We don't stop to think about that. You understand what I'm saying? We don't stop to think about those things. And then the biggest buck of it is mamas, young women who's not ready to have kids, having kids for all the wrong reasons. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's more than just having a baby. Babies require responsibilities. Baby requires attention. Children require time. And so if you don't have the time and these kids are raising themselves, then they go looking for love
In the wrong
in all the
places.
wrong places and they end up in the wrong company. As soon as something happened to your child, as
Yeah,
soon as they
crying
end up in
about-
something, then you crying that your child is innocent. And your child is not innocent. Now, we're not saying that every kid is this way. We're not saying every household is this way, but it is something that we really need to look at. We can't put it on this, all of it on the system because charity starts at home and spreads abroad. And so if you want to correct the problem, you have to start in the home
collectively.
collectively. If your children have curfew, then they should have curfew. They should not be on the video uh, on the news downtown destroying property. You understand what I'm saying? So we get to these scenarios, and now, in some instances, I just had this conversation this morning that some of these young folks think it's glorified to get sentenced to go to jail. You understand what I'm saying? And they have no idea of what they finna walk into because you think you bad out here, but I promise you,
It's a beast.
it's a beast in there, something that they are not ready for. And if you don't have family support, if you don't have family connection, you ain't gonna survive. You're not. The system is cruel. Just being out here. Now imagine it's 12 times as bad in there. Because what you used to out here is not happening in there. The food is not like you think it is. The bed don't sleep like you think it do. The clothes don't wear like you think they should. And you don't get to adjust the heat or the air conditioning. You have to suffer through it. You understand what I'm saying?
But that is the Department of Correction.
It is.
That's the Department of
It
Correction.
is, but ain't no, and it's the
I'm
department.
waiting on the corrections to come
It should
out.
be IDOK instead of IDOC. It should be IDOK, Department of Keeping, because that's what they're doing. They're keeping people from returning home to their family. They ain't correcting nothing. There's no real programs that's going to make a difference. There's no real eyes looking at the cases and making sure that everybody's hand and everybody's eyes that touch that case are legitimately doing what's right.
They're supposed to.
Like they're supposed. But they go to school and they take these oaths to become judges. They take these oaths to become attorneys, and a lot of people don't follow what they sworn to do. But they want you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And on those walls, it said, "In God we trust." So you're kind of being a hypocrite. So you can't say "In God we trust" when in God when you ain't in God trusting you lying. Y'all lying and set people. It's been proven over and over again. We've seen police chiefs, we've seen police sergeants go to jail for manipulating cases. And the sad part to this is it makes it hard for the person who is actually doing the job the right way. It shines a bad light. And it makes people untrust. They don't trust. They don't trust nothing that's said or done. Here is my thing. Inside of Cook County, there are people that's sitting there for 5 years, 9 years, 10 years, haven't been to trial, haven't been none of their sort. Now, if you know that you have solid, concrete evidence, then it don't take you that long to find. It shouldn't take you that long to find out who's innocent and who's guilty. But we stall the process because we want to label individuals. We want to put them in a place where they so desperate to get out that they think they're plea bargaining for the right reasons and they're being set up for all the wrong reasons. And their lives are being destroyed. So we have people in there that can't read, they can't write, and nobody cares. So it's not the Department of Corrections, it's the Department of keeping individuals in there because there's a dollar on every head that's in there. And I'm not talking about small change, I'm talking about big bucks. It is a money maker. Jail ATM makes almost $100 for a small packet. Oodles or noodles is $10 when they're $2 in the store. Explain that to me.
Let's talk about the water.
Let's talk about
Statesville always run short on water. Okay. I don't know about some of the other ones I've heard from Graham, they're having problems. Everything is turned upside down. Okay. Things that they are supposed to provide medical attention. If you go in for you need some type of medical attention where they have to send you out. Do you know if my office doesn't do the prep before you get ready to go, you go out thinking you're going to get the medical attention. They can't work with you because they haven't had you prep. Now, do you know how long it's going to take you to get another appointment?
About
6 to 8 months. Okay, you got people in there with 3 stages, stage 3 of cancer. They're billing Medicaid, Medicare. It's not that they don't have the funds because they're billing. Okay, so again, we're cash cows.
We are, but here's my thing too. They're still human beings.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And they're not being treated like human beings. A lot of stuff is being done in the prisons and in local jails. Half the people that make decisions on this stuff, they will not even eat the food, neither sleep on the premises. But yet and still they think it's okay for somebody else family member to eat the slop and sleep on the premises. Now in Cook County, since we talked about food in Cook County, um, they have food that come in with rat feces in it. They have food that come in that's mold. sealed in the packages. They have food that come in with nets flying around, right? Now, Tom Dart and Tony Prepwinkle name is on the kiosk outside the facility at Cook County Jail on California. Big old kiosk sitting on the ground. Sheriff Tom Dart, Cook County Board President Tony Prepwinkle. But I bet you Tom Dart and Tony Prepwinkle would stay in there a day. They wouldn't go in the cafeteria and eat the same thing that they're eating. You understand what I'm saying? So then you wonder why these individuals come out with diabetes, high blood pressure, bad heart, bad arthritis, everything. They go in there healthy. Teeth is messed up because they don't get the proper dental, they don't get the proper medical, they don't get the proper clothing, they don't get the proper ventilation, they don't get the proper water. And then you wonder why they come out in the conditions that they come out.
That's why we're encouraging any inmates to exercise your rights, your constitutional rights. You have a right to request testing. We're asking that everybody be tested for lead poisoning
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that there's so much lead in the water in the system. Maybe if this count is presented as to how many people incarcerated are actually suffering with this, maybe then something can be done. But they refuse to even give them lead tests.
Okay, and I'm gonna divert a little bit, but I'm gonna divert for a reason. And I want everybody to understand the reason why I'm diverting. And it's gonna make sense in a few minutes. We can send $1 billion to Ukraine, right? Money that we don't have in the United States and not one other 50 states. We don't have this money, right? We crap broke all the time. COVID hit, right? They gave everybody an extra $300. And as soon as COVID was over with, they took the $300 and we got tagged with an extra bill. Groceries went up, utilities went up, a mortgage went up, rent is really ridiculous, right? Then immigrants started being bussed in to the various states. Chicago got a busload of them. We had schools that was not open. And all of a sudden, miraculously, money was found for schools to be open.
Well, what were they open for?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get to that. After the summer program that used to be for our children, every year the kids could not go back to the program at all because they had already been in the program, so they couldn't go back to the program. A lot of facilities that's got grant money from the state and the federal government that were open, that was supposed to be for individuals coming from prison for a second chance so you can have a bed to sleep in, they use it for illegal immigrants, right? Police stations have been loaded with illegal immigrants, right? New cars have been dropped off. They have been getting $1,500 in money. They've been given link and they've been finding them somewhere to stay, right? They've asked for schools, and recently Governor Pritzker signed a thing that landlords could not discriminate against illegal immigrants. And I said, you're not going to pay a dime to fix a property, repair it if they destroy it at all. So I said all this to say we can take care of people that's not our responsibility at all. And if we went to their country, they would not accommodate us, not one iota. They're not going to teach us their language. They're not going to give us any break. They're not giving us no link. They're not giving us nowhere to stay. They're not opening up no buildings. They're not allowing us to live in their police stations. They're not feeding us. They're not clothing us. They're not looking out for us at all. Period. But yet and still, and I'm going to say this, and Linda probably going to cringe when but we shit on our own. The people that needs the attention, the people that lives here, veterans that come home, people that is homeless, living in tent city, we have the audacity to take care of somebody else and we shit on our own. We have the audacity, we have the nerve to take care of somebody, and we get mad when we as people, legal residents, don't want to support what you want us to support. But you don't support nothing that we're asking you to do. So why should I support? When you clear them homeless, when y'all can fix the jail problem, when y'all can change the food, when you can change the temperature, when you treat them like human beings and not dogs, because everybody in there are not criminals. When you can do that, then maybe we consider anything else. But until then, y'all can jump off the highest mountain to the lowest valley. I promise you. And I mean that from the depth of my soul. Because I'm tired. It's too much. When you start hearing all these stories of mothers trying to fight for their children, of wives trying to fight for their husband, and groups of you got women out here fighting for the women prison side, you got people out here fighting for the men prison side. Y'all have no idea of the conditions those individuals live in. You have no idea. You have it's worse than eating out the garbage can.
Not a clue. But you know what's really sad is like, I mean, I know that we're supposed to always love one another, do for another, blah, 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 we. But I also know that it's my responsibility to be my brother or sister's keeper.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that my grandmother taught me that if your mother is not at home and you're sitting on the steps to bring you in the house so that you can get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and sit down and do your homework.
Exactly.
Okay, I do know this.
Mm-hmm.
So with that aspect, when we, and you know yourself, we have gone to political individuals and asked for properties to set up programs to help the homeless, to help the women with the children, to help the youth. We even did a youth program, so we know what we're talking about. We're not going by an assumption.
Right.
Okay. Now, what gets me is all of this that you're doing for the immigrants. It's a good thing. Okay. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying do it after you taking care of your own home.
That's it.
Take care of your house first. And what I mean by that is everything that's needed by minorities, like the Mexican girl over on 17th Avenue that sits in the parking lot with her 3 little kids asking for $1 so she can get them some food. Okay. I have no problem with giving to that little Mexican girl. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with you telling me I got to take care of them migrants when they don't even speak to me. Whereas this young lady with these kids, I don't know where those kids are headed. They might wind up being one of my nieces and nephew-in-laws later in life.
Yeah, but they come over here like they're entitled.
Well, it's because society let them become
But
entitled.
here's my thing. If I said this other day at work, and I told them, if I have to fill out 30 pieces of paper to get a house, then you need to fill out 30 pieces of paper to get a house.
So you need to fill
If
out
I
40
got-
because I've been here all this time. You're new coming here. See, we don't know what these people, these immigrants' backgrounds are,
We don't.
what their mental capacity is, or what their purpose is for being here. Now, when these white folks go to disappear and they head over here and their legs over here,
Then they're gonna do something.
then no, they're gonna put it on us, but they can't stick it to us because we learned how to protect ourselves. Psalms 23 tells me that you ain't got nothing coming here.
Right.
But you're going to take me and degrade me, tear me down, make me lose my family, lose my job, possibly my house. And that immigrant that you brought here is the one that did the problem.
Exactly.
See, that's where I got a problem.
I got a problem with that too. Now you said you don't know their mental, right? So not too long ago at work, one of them took out a blade and started swinging it at everybody. So you tapped in. You don't know their mental,
Right.
but you quickly, when we on the news, you document us as being crazy. We have criminal background. We own drugs. You know, everything is wrong with us.
Except the fact that we might be going through a mental, just like the little white girl that her husband left her and she got the kids and she's going through something. The same thing crossed over here on the other side of the track with Sally Mae and her 3 kids. Okay, but you'll give her help before you give her help.
It don't make sense.
We're confused.
It don't make
We're
sense.
confused.
It's very confusing. So I said all that because how we perceive things, how we handle things is so backwards. But yet and still, our cities, our state cry broke. But we immediately find money to help those when we haven't changed the narrative
With
of the
those that are
communities
here.
that are here already. Bottom line, if you would take care of home and clean up, then people might have a little more empathy when you didn't make a decision to do something else. But we got seniors that's scared to walk the street. We have single mothers that have to walk the street and they're scared to walk the street because it's not about us, it's about the people that y'all dropped off on the bus who think
You know
they
what?
can do what they want to do anytime they want to do it.
This comes to mind. The sexual complaints or the sexual
Harassment.
harassments that the police were supposed to have done to some immigrants, okay? I can't say that they didn't do it, but it's really strange that this officer that's been in this position all of these years will find that desire that strong that they're willing to lose it all
For that.
for something that they don't know what you got. You come here, you ain't been tested for nothing.
Nothing.
You're just here. So if HIV, BBD, GGG, CCC, whatever, you bringing it in here.
Exactly.
Now here's a man or a woman that's an officer, and I'm just saying what's right. Been on this job 20 years. He might have just said, "Oh, you're such a lovely little girl." Now she got enough sense to go tell her mama, the mama could come back and whatever, or however it went. So here's where white folks better look at it too, because they taking their word
And twisting it.
over your word. So next you gonna be, they here for a reason. You can say what you wanna, they here for a reason.
Exactly.
And it ain't just cause to live off the land.
It's not.
They coming to get the land.
Yeah.
We done built it up. You done built it up. Now they coming to take it over. That's what it is.
Yeah. And it's unfair.
And it is.
It's totally unfair. And if you're gonna be right and we follow the laws of the land, and y'all need to follow to the fullest capacity.
Right.
If the people say no, then the answer should be no. Y'all should not pass no laws. You should not make no bills or no amendments to nothing. If the people say no, the answer should be no.
Yes.
Because I don't care what country you go to, they're not going to adapt for you. They're not. You're going to come in there, you're going to abide by their rules, the rules that they set, and they not deviating from no rule whatsoever. Go over there and try it and see what happens. See how far you get over there. See, we're so easily manipulated over here. And the things we should waver on or be lenient on, we don't be lenient on those things.
Look at it.
Now, y'all want to be hard on the black and brown, but you're not hard on nobody else.
How many of those that came in, immigrants that came in, do you know they have never committed a crime?
You don't.
How many of them, you know?
You don't.
You actually know.
And here's something you're going to find funny. The ones who been here for the longest say the same thing we say.
Yeah.
Why y'all giving all these person privileges? I had to work for mine. I had this conversation. They are the same nationality, ethnic race as they are.
But they've been
here. So their same thought process is if I have to work for mine,
they need to work
for theirs too.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So elected officials, I don't know where y'all head at, but y'all need to stop playing with God's people. I promise you. Stop playing with God's people because you're going to start snapping y'all to sleep. What you call it already failed already. What's his name? The man with the glasses over the Senate. He failed already. Y'all keep playing with God. He's going to do more than sweep you from under your feet. I promise you. And they say he was looking all crazy when he failed. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
He failed. So y'all playing with God's people. So y'all got these suits and ties on, these dresses, these heels, and these pantyhose. and y'all get on TV on camera and y'all spit out lies. And y'all think we dumb enough to swallow and believe what you're saying. And again, it's not what you say, is not what you say, is what you don't say. Your demeanor, how you look. You look like lies when you stand up there. When your eyes is twitching, your head is bobbing, and all that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And then you go behind closed doors and then do something. Not just do something totally different.
Flip the script.
Flip the script. And then when it turns out, you act like you are unaware. I didn't say that, and you's a lie. You did say that. You said it.
Well, some of them you'll find that they won't deny it, but they'll, are you sure? You know.
And I'm telling y'all, you don't believe me? Just shut up for a minute, take a look around and start to listen. For us, they're trying to roll us backwards. They're trying to roll us completely backwards. And you better pay attention to that in a slick way, in a very slick way. Incarceration is real. It is the dismantling of family. And they feel if they can take the head away, they can destroy the rest of the body.
But they're not only just taking the head away, they're diminishing the actual family trait. I mean, the family sector, because when the father is taken out, when the mother is taken out, the kids are left there unattended without any supportive services, or the grandparents. And then let's face it, grandmothers don't. I couldn't raise a child today. I couldn't raise one because I'd be in jail. I'd be in jail, you know, because the first time they say something about what they don't want or what they're not gonna do,
they'll be the new furniture.
They won't even be in the furniture. They'd be downstairs up under the steps, scared to come out, you know, because of the way I threatened them, not putting my hands on them, you know. But it's just time for us to become accountable. They want us to take accountability. Let's take it. Let's start out with the round table.
Yes.
Let's bring as many cases that can be validated as being part of the criteria of the round table and bring it to, let's call them out on it. We can get together and do both. On Facebook, there's so many families of mothers of sons incarcerated, mothers of daughters incarcerated, loved ones incarcerated. Why don't we all come together and just be family incarcerated?
Right. But here is the thing. I'll talk a good talk, but I won't walk the walk.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And I want everybody else to stand up for me. I want everybody to represent my issue. I want everybody else to fight for me, but I don't want to fight for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I can't fight your fight. I can fight with you while you're fighting, but you have to step to the forefront and fight too.
And be in charge.
It takes more. It takes a village. It takes a group of people. And the one thing I've learned from those Mexicans and white folks, they don't like each other. But when there's a cause, they want something done, they will stick together. Mexicans, they don't even know each other. And I promise you, when they see each other, they don't know their name, his name, their name, but they love each other, they hug each other, they hang with each other like they've been family all their life. If we can get that concept together,
like it was. We had that concept.
Back when my daddy was coming up.
We had that concept.
It no longer exists.
You know?
It don't.
If your mama didn't have monies to pay the light bill, everybody in the building chipped in to help with paying the light bill.
My daddy had a garden in the back of the house. Nobody on the block went home for nothing. Because he shared that garden with everybody. If his skill, which he was a construction worker, and you didn't have the money to pay nobody to fix it, guess what they did? They got together.
Yeah.
And fixed each other's houses. They got together and paid for the concrete, the sidewalks to be concrete. We don't know how to stick together. And that's a problem.
But see, if we can start out getting together collectively, mentally.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is we're not going to share the same exact vision. but it is the vision.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be parts in the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like with the round table, people don't realize it, but dehumanization, it covers many areas.
Mm-hmm.
It covers a policeman can walk up to you right now and say something that's insulting to you.
And that's dehumanizing.
That's dehumanizing.
Mm-hmm.
What give him the right to do this?
Right.
But we shun it off.
Mm-hmm.
We let it go. Wrongful convictions. We have to learn how we can present this. See, there's some learning that we have.
Yeah.
That SB 2129.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people have looked at that
Mm-hmm.
and have thought about it. It might not be in my house, but it might be in the house down the street.
Exactly.
So if I know about it
Mm-hmm.
and I know that, girl, your son been so and so, so and so, so and so. Let's see if he, he'll take
Qualified
this
for this, right.
information.
But here's the thing, you know what I've learned, and I've been on, I'm on social media all the time, but it just really dawned on me how much garbage we like.
Oh yeah.
We love the garbage, we love the gossip, we love the mess. But when it comes down to solid information
Realities
that we need, things that we need to know,
we don't share.
we don't, and we pass over. Even if somebody posts and share it, we skip that information. We pass it
As
over.
long as it's about salad,
I'm telling you.
drinking
And Mike sleeping with everybody.
Okay.
I'm interested.
Okay.
Or Susie get a divorce from her husband of 20 years. I'm interested about that. But when I'm telling you that the laws have changed,
and
when I'm telling you what's going on, you need to be attentive. When I'm telling your kids need to know this and y'all ignore it, then you want to look at what the Jordan brand is doing. I'm going to stand in line for some $300 gym shoes, and you're going to need the $300 to bail your butt up out of jail. But you don't have no clue how you being set up. You know what I'm saying? Parties ain't parties like they used to. Hanging out ain't nothing like it used to. You need to know the people you hanging out with and why you hanging out with. Because hanging out with people will get you your life snatched or get you hurt for real.
That's for you young people,
It will get your life snatched or you hurt. And that is no joke. It's real. Sitting in your car will get your life snatched. Mistaken identity, oops, you cannot correct. Because once that bullet hits you and you gone, you out of here. They can't say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't meant to get you. I meant to get somebody else.
Like the little 8-year-old.
Yeah, and it's sad.
Sad.
It's sad. But it's enough going to be enough. That's enough.
When we come together collectively and say enough is enough, take these guns out of our community, take these drugs out of our communities. When we stand together collectively against that white man that's bringing it in to us and tell him, take it back to your house.
Mm-hmm.
Then we might can do something. Then we might can address the issues. Like you have people in prison that are really talented, that are really educated, that have really done things on the inside, outside. Okay. You have people that I have young men that write to me and send me poems and share with me their inner feelings about what they did, when they did it, and now, what they want to do and how they can do. They're writing books for kids. So why not? Why can't they have a chance?
Yeah, it's only fair.
Why can't they be allowed to live like a human one more time?
Exactly. It's only fair. And if somebody is on stage 3 cancer, y'all can unlock them gates and let them out. It don't make no sense.
It's sad that they hold them there, and they got to keep that bed covered, Renee. They got to keep them beds full.
That is sad.
So if it don't matter if you die, I got to keep that bed full because I need that money.
That is sad. And again, God gonna slap you out of sleep.
But see, we can make the changes. We can make the law, amend the law to where that Joe Coleman fits for everything as far as illness is concerned. If a man is 60 years old and incarcerated, what can he do when he comes out? But to try to get somewhere and try to see about his family.
Exactly.
Ain't no more criminal in him.
No.
So why are we taking care of them? I feel like they pimping me.
Exactly. They pimping everybody who's
Okay,
working a
this is
job
what I'm
paying
saying.
taxes.
You don't realize it, but
Everybody
we're
being
being
pimped.
pimped.
Everybody being pimped.
You know, and
You
and
being
and, and
pimped.
who,
You
who's
being
taking
pimped
the
with your
money?
taxes to take care of the immigrants. You
Okay,
being pimped and taxes to take care of every prison system that resides in your state.
that's right.
You're being pimped. So when you talk about your tax dollars, them unknown names that you don't know where it's going to some of that stuff we talked about.
That's
Y'all
it.
better wake up.
Wake
That's
up
all I'm
and
saying.
smell the
You better
coffee.
wake up. So this is not, again, as I started out earlier, it's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. We've been on this mission a long time.
Yes, yes.
And we've had a couple of in-persons that was very productive. And I told Linda we're gonna go back, start going back online, doing some things. And whether you chime in now, you chime in later. You need to open your ears and open your eyes and pay attention.
And if you're interested in learning, how can I find out if a case fits the round table? We're not looking for individuals, we're looking for cases. And we're looking for individuals. This is another thing. We have been individuals that come out and they productively work in society.
Mhm.
They want to give back, they want to do, and I applaud them. But then we have some that come out that still in this mentality
Mhm.
of I can get it quick. I can get it quick.
Mhm.
So we know where they're gonna wind up, hell or jail. Okay. But then you have some that want to do the right thing but don't know how.
Mhm.
Those are the ones I want to contact me.
Mhm.
Because see, when I take you through my me map, you'll know what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
And what we're gonna start doing again, Nene, is having sessions on what is meant by dehumanization. If you're
Mhm.
interested, join us so and so, so and so,
Mhm.
and we'll give you the breakdowns. When we get through with the breakdowns and showing what how you can actually look on a person's inmate search and do an application for SB 2129.
Mhm.
All of the information is right there.
Mhm.
We need to bombard these offices to make them work.
Exactly.
And don't just send it in, call to make sure.
They got it.
Get a name.
Mhm.
Who did I talk to?
Mhm.
Well, I talked to you, Miss Thomas, 2 days ago at 2 o'clock.
Mhm.
I got it documented.
Exactly.
And as you say, documents are important.
Documents are important.
Yes.
Very much so. All right, everybody. Well, this is being posted. I went on my page and made it live. I'm going to download this so Linda can post it where it needs to be posted. But we need to get our ducks in a row, line up our dominoes, stack our cards, whatever you need to do.
Get ready, get ready.
Get ready, because you need to be on your P's and Q's, because some things are going to hit your front door. And if you ain't ready for them, it's going to knock you off your feet. I promise you. So the round tables are full effect, and it consists of 4 categories. That is dehumanization, excessive sentencing, wrongful conviction, and accountability. So those are the 4 areas that we are addressing. All right. Um, so if you want to be a part, you can inbox and say you have a case or you want to be a part. But we got to know how to stick together.
Be of encouragement to each other.
Yeah, see if we want to make a change. We're going to have to stick together and do it collectively. Okay? Well, all right. Until next time, you all have the rest of your evening. Enjoy, and we'll chat later.
Be blessed.